Okay, let's talk about the hidden rules that shape literally every single one of our interactions. It's like there's this invisible game that we're all playing, but a lot of the time, we don't even know the rules.
You know the feeling, right? You're on a first date, maybe just grabbing a coffee, and even though you're talking, the conversation seems fine, something just feels wrong. There's this awkwardness in the air you just can't put your finger on. So what is that? Now, I want you to contrast that awkward feeling with this. The absolute poetry and motion of Michael Jordan hitting a fadeaway jumper. Every single muscle, every joint, every part of his body moves in perfect, beautiful harmony. It's fluid, it's effortless, it's the total opposite of that awkward.
So how on earth does a cringy first date connect with one of the greatest athletes in history? Well, they are both part of the exact same invisible game, a game of unspoken rules, of internal maps, and the subtle dance of how we interact with each other. So, let's break down that first rule.
The first layer of this game is all around us, all the time. It's the actual physical space we share, and how we use it to send these incredibly powerful, silent messages about safety, about power, and about intimacy.
Turns out, there's a name for this. It's called proxemics. An anthropologist named Edward Hall came up with it way back in the 1960s. And it's basically the science of our personal space. You know, how close we stand, how we move towards someone or pull away. It's a huge part of our non-verbal language.
Hall actually broke it down into 4 different zones. You've got public distance, which is more than 12 feet away. That's for public speaking. Then there's social distance, from 4 to 12 feet, for people you know but aren't close to. Then it gets closer. Personal distance, about 1.5 to 4 feet, is for friends and family. And finally, you have intimate distance, less than 1.5 feet, and that's reserved for only our closest relationships. Just crossing from one of these zones into another sends a massive social signal.
Now, that whole game of spacing that we just talked about, the one happening out here, was actually being run by a really complex blueprint, deep inside your own head. Researchers today have a new term for this, cognitive proxemics. It's a really fascinating idea. It's all about how our brain doesn't just react to the space around us, it actively builds a mental model of it. It's about that dance between what we imagine and what we actually do. Basically, what this all means is your brain is constantly running simulations. It's creating this internal map of your personal space, and it's predicting how interactions are going to feel before they even happen. That's the source of that off feeling on a date. It's your internal map clashing with what's actually happening in reality. And this is where things get really, really interesting. Performers, like mentalists, they're not psychic. They are absolute masters at reading and even manipulating your brain's predictive map. They might get just a little too close to see how you react, or use clever questions to make you think they predicted something. They're exploiting the very same mental processes that guide your sense of comfort to create this amazing illusion that they can read your mind. So we've talked about understanding this internal map. But what happens when someone doesn't just understand it, but masters it to the point of perfection? Well, you get something pretty extraordinary. Get this. During the 1996-97 NBA season, Michael Jordan shot 49.5% from mid-range, on over 1,000 shots. I mean, just think about that. With the best defenders in the entire world trying to stop him, he was making one of the hardest shots in basketball almost half the time. It's insane. That's not just a physical gift. It's the result of what some experts call neuromuscular priming. He spent thousands upon thousands of hours practicing, perfecting his internal blueprint of movement, space, and balance, until his body could just execute it flawlessly, almost on autopilot, under the most intense pressure. His internal map became reality. And this shows us that mastery isn't just about endless physical repetition, it's also about strategy. Look at Bruce Lee. He broke down fighting into his 5 ways of attack. He wasn't just building muscle memory, he was building a whole strategic library in his head for any scenario you could throw at him. He mastered the logic of the fight, not just the movements. So this brings us to a really crucial point. We've talked about space and mastery, but what is the highest expression of that kind of power? It might not be what you think, it's all about the logic of what real strength is. You know, harming someone weaker or playing a zero-sum game where for you to win, they have to lose, that's not strength. The Stoic philosophers knew this thousands of years ago. Seneca said that cruelty actually comes from weakness, and Marcus Aurelius taught that true power is restraint. Lashing out is just a failure of control. And hey, even if you take morality completely out of the equation, the cold, hard logic still holds up.
The economist Frederick Bastiat explained it perfectly with his broken window fallacy. When you break something, the money spent to fix it isn't creating new wealth, it's just replacing what was lost. You've wasted resources that could have gone into creating something totally new. Destruction is always a net loss. It's a strategic failure, plain and simple.
Okay, so let's bring all of this together. We've got the language of space, our brain's internal map, the art of physical mastery, and the logic of restraint. So, what's the ultimate goal? Why should we try to understand this invisible game? Because here's the big takeaway. The highest level of this game isn't about controlling other people or winning at their expense. The truest expression of mastering these unspoken rules is using them to build deeper, more meaningful connections. It's about making other people feel seen, heard, and valued.
And the most powerful tool for this by far is active listening. Remember that internal map we talked about? Well, active listening is how you consciously manage your own map to make space for someone else's. It's not just about hearing words. It means putting your phone down, putting your own agenda aside, and listening to truly understand, not just to come up with a reply. This one skill is the key to turning an awkward moment into a real connection.
You know, it really all boils down to what the great philosopher Ted Lasso once said: be curious, not judgmental. That single idea is the absolute heart of active listening. If you can go into conversations with genuine curiosity about the other person, instead of just judging what they say, you will be blown away by what you learn and the kind of rapport you can build.
So, from the space between us to the maps inside our own heads, this invisible game is always being played. The only real question left is, now that you can see the rules, what kind of player are you going to be?